Thank you very much for that introduction. But before I start, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our Program Quality Director of District 20, DTM Alifia. DTM Alifia, over to you.
Thank you, DTM Cajetan. A very good morning to all our fellow members. We have a few of our district officials, district head of Arabic Affairs is here, Toastmaster Hussam. We have Area Director 21 amongst us, Area Director Ala is there, Area Director Abdul Nabi is there, Area Director Subrata and Area Director Minmoy, and of course our presenter for today, Division F Director DTM Cajetan is here. So a very good morning and good luck, DTM Cajetan. We are here to support. Back to you.
Thank you, PQD, DTM Alifia. My topic today is how to become a DTM. But that's a very simple topic. It would not take me more than 10 minutes to tell you. To become a DTM, you need to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when Division G director called me and said, I want you to give a workshop on how to become a DTM, I thought, what could I do more? So my objective is a little more challenging today for you all. If you all are willing to take part, my objective today is to show you and to enable you to know everything about how to become a DTM more than I do. Are you all up for a challenge? You all can use the raise thumbs, and I will be happy to know that you all are willing to learn with me and what are the aspects of becoming a DTM. But before that, I just want to have a small understanding of my audience. And what I want you to do is I want you all to rename yourself by putting in front of you your title. Either you are a DTM, so you can say DTM, let's say Alifia Laklavara. I know that is the thing. And if you have, let's say, a pathways DTM, you can say DTM, and I will do it for my name. I'll say I am DTM. In brackets, I will put P. So I know that, or you all should know that I'm a pathways DTM. If you're not a DTM, just put TM dash, then your name. And I like to see all of you all changing your name. So I have a sense of the number of DTMs in the house and the number of Toastmasters in the house. And if you're not a Toastmaster, that's also fine. But so I can see Toastmaster Dinesh, Mrinoy, Roy, Ravi Kumar, Ala, Edwin, Hussam, are you all DTM or non-DTM? Just rename yourself so everyone gets to know each other. And I can see that all of you are changing very quickly to your prefix. So we have mostly Toastmasters, and welcome DTM in traditional and DTM in pathways, morally a past, immediate past Division E director. So he has put himself as DTM in brackets TNP. I thought it was terms and conditions apply, but no, it's just that he is a DTM into educational programs. Excellent. Now, what I want you all to do is in the chat box, I want you all to type one of the statements or something similar to that. And what do I mean by that? I want you all to set up a goal in your chat box where you can say, I want to become a DTM in 1 year or in 2 to 3 years, or you want to take your own time to become a DTM, or you don't have an interest in becoming a DTM maybe, or maybe you don't know what is required to become a DTM. I want to see this chat so Murali wants to become a DTM in 1 year. That means he wants to become a third DTM, and we'll come to that. Priscilla wants to become a DTM in 1 year. Who else? Yes, Roy wants to take his own time, and that's good because you as long as you know what you have to do and you want to enjoy your journey, that's a good objective too. Ala wants to become a DTM in 1 year, and I'm sure she will become because she is currently the area director and she's doing an excellent job. Mazhar wants to take his own time to become a DTM, and Rosemary 1 year. So there are wish to be a DTM, my fourth in pathways this time, DTM Alex, and great. I wish you all the best. Sadiq wants to acquire DTM, but not sure how long. And that's fine. Dinesh, I have no idea what is required to become a DTM, and you're in the right place. In the next 45 minutes, you will have a clear idea as much as I know about DTM. Comment from Latif, I have no idea what is required to become a DTM. So Murali is writing on behalf of Latif, and that's amazing. So I have a sense of a good mixture of people who have gone through the journey and those who want to complete the journey and those who are not sure what is the journey. And let's cover those things. But before we do that, let me just give you a brief idea of who I am. And my name is Cajetan Barretto. Those who are meeting me for the first time, I feel they will be very few of you all. And a couple of my hobbies other than Toastmasters is photography. Whenever I used to go for any Toastmaster events, people used to assume I am the official photographer, though I used to just do it for my hobby. And I like scuba diving, and I'm also a certified trainer. And I generally love technology. As you can see, I try my best to make it as engaging as possible. And as far as y'all, I can see most of y'all who are DTMs, TMs, and what is your objective here today? So the learning objectives are known to me to some extent. In terms of ground rules, I would like you all to keep your microphones muted. I will ask you all to speak. We have a good amount of time to interact and learn from each other. As far as possible, use the speaker view so that my view along with whatever I'm showing is visible to you on the screen. I'll try to use this view for most of my training instead of using the sharing option, which sort of disturbs the entire display. Whatever queries you have, put them in the chat. I will address each and every query related to DTM. And as usual, give importance to safety, be aware of your surroundings at all times. Learning objectives are very simple. We want to know how to become a DTM, and I will guide you through the 3 processes that are required to complete a DTM journey, and that relates to your education, your leadership, and finally what we call the DTM project. And I will explain to you what is required in each of these 3 categories. There is this very interesting graphic which sort of encapsulates the whole journey of a DTM, but can also be very confusing when somebody looks at it and doesn't understand what are all these things about. What is this 1, 2, 3? What is this club sponsor? What is this mentor? What I have to do? What is mandatory? What is optional? And so forth. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I break it into 3 things. The educational journey, which you will see on the bottom half, which is the pathways projects. The leadership journey, which is on the top part, where you do certain tasks in Toastmasters. You take up leadership roles, you take up challenges. And once you complete all of this, you sort of showcase it with what we call a DTM project, a capstone project, a project that sort of encapsulates all that you have done, all that you have learned in your education as well as leadership, and demonstrate it to the community for their benefit. And then you can say, yes, now I am a DTM. And I hope all of you all know what is DTM? A Distinguished Toastmaster. That's the highest award that Toastmasters International confers upon its members to say that you have demonstrated not only communication, but leadership skills in your journey in Toastmasters. So how long does it take to complete a DTM? As you have seen the chat box, it can be as fast as you want and as slow as you want. It is not a university course where you have to commit to 2 years or 3 years. Toastmasters is a self-paced learning program. So you can decide how much time you want to invest in Toastmasters, how quickly you want to reach the pinnacle, or if you don't want to reach the pinnacle, because there are elements of Toastmasters that you might want to experience, but not do all of it, this whole graph. You want to do some of it because you believe that is what is important to you. So you choose and you do what you want. Now that we have a basic idea about education, leadership, and the DTM project, let's break it down. And to do that, as I said, to become a DTM, the requirements itself are very straightforward. And if I was to show you my screen, which is here, on the right-hand side, this was the DTM in the traditional program, but I'm going to look at the pathways learning experience. I'll make it a little bigger. I hope you all can see it. I have my wife in the other room who will come knocking on the door if this is not visible properly to you. So we have 6 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means you have to do some education. You have to do some leadership at the club level. You have to do some leadership at the district level. You have to demonstrate some skills related to helping others, either to create new clubs or either to, so you do education, you do leadership, and then you apply them to help others, to help members, to help clubs become better. You demonstrate those, and as I said, finally, you complete a DTM project. Let's break it down. Let's break down the 6 elements into this Excel file that I've created, and this I probably will have to, okay, I have a way of doing that. Let me move it to the right so that you all can see the 6 requirements that are necessary to become a DTM. So as I said, requirement 1 is that we need to do some education, and in pathways, we call them paths. And the requirement for a DTM is that we need to do 2 paths, path 1 and path 2. May I know from you all how many paths do you think there are currently in pathways? And you can put it in the chat box. I will, sorry. Let me check the chat box. Okay, Murali, always the first person to answer anything related to pathways says there are 11 paths. Okay, let me put a more challenging question to you. We started with 10 paths. Which was the 11th path that was added afterwards? DTM Murali, on the button. Engaging humor is the right answer. Of course, you said humor, but I will give the point to you because you corrected yourself and said engaging humor. Yeah, so engaging humor was the 11th part that was added recently. And I think I'm better off using the share screen because I don't want to create any confusion. So let me do the share screen. And so we have 2 paths. You have to choose any one of them. And you have to serve as a club officer for 12 months. And there are some riders to that. It means that you don't only serve as a club officer for 12 months, but you need to participate in a club success plan. And I hope all the, and before I do that, let me do something more interesting because I want to have a baseline of your, let's play a small game. I think this will be interesting for you all. So I'm going to launch a game using Kahoot. And I want you all to get ready to answer some questions on pathways. And the game is called the Road to Pathways DTM. And let me start the game. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now for you all. And please log into Kahoot. I would like all of you all to join in this game. Those who don't know Kahoot, you can go to www.kahoot.it, or if you have a Kahoot app already installed on your phone or something, you just give this pin code 20035. Let me adjust. Let me share again with the sound. If the volume is too loud, let me know so I can reduce the volume. So let's join into this Kahoot game. I would like to see some players joining. LM has joined, Sana has joined. Great. We have 3 players already. I'll give another 1 minute for most of you all to join. Mazhar is in. Gaurav is with us. Welcome, Gaurav. Come on, everyone, let's join the game. It's very simple. Either in your web browser, go to www.kahoot.it, or download the app Kahoot and enter the pin code. Great. So we have a good number of players with us. I hope the rest join. In 10 seconds, I'll launch the game. Surya, welcome. Ready to play? So let's start with the first question. So the road to Toastmasters DTM. The first quiz is, to be eligible for Pathways DTM, how many paths must you complete? So we have how many answers? 7 answers only, 8 answers, 9 answers. Okay, so majority of you got it right. To be eligible for Pathways DTM, we need to do 2 paths. Excellent. Let's go to the next question. So Karthik is on top with 938. Remember, how fast you answer also plays an importance in your standing in this game. So Karthik, all the best to you in your next question. LM and Mazhar are right behind you. Which of the following is not a district role? We have area director, QD, club president, division director. You have 6 seconds left. Come on, answer. Okay, so 6 of you got it right. Club president is not a district role. It's a club EXCOM role. Division director, area director, and PQD, these are all district related roles. Let's see who's on top. LM has squeezed to top, and Mazhar is right behind it. Great going, Mazhar. Try to catch up. Next question. Which of the following is not a credit for DTM? So we have club sponsor role, club mentor role, Beechcraft, and a Pathways mentor. Right. So I thought it was a trick question because Pathways Mentor you would think will be a credit for Pathways DTM, but no, the credit for Pathways include Speechcraft, club mentors role, club sponsor roles, but not a mentor role. And I'm happy to see that many of you all know this. Sadiq has squeezed on top now. Mazhar, you're right there. Get the next one correct. A DTM project must have a guidance committee of at least 2 senior members. Is this true or false? In 2, 1. Okay, so this is 50-50, and it's kind of a trick question because DTM project is what we call a capstone project to showcase your final leadership and communication skills, and you would think that you would need a guidance committee for that. But again, the whole idea about a DTM project is it is your project, what you want to do, what is your vision to become a DTM, and nobody can guide you on that. It is your own demonstration. That's why it is not required to have a guidance committee for a DTM project. You define your DTM project and you execute it. Interesting. Sadiq, doing well. To be eligible for DTM, you must serve as a district officer for how long? Is it for 6 months? Is it for 1 year? Is it for 2 years? Is it for 3 years? One year. Almost all of you got it right. And yes, that's you must serve for 1 year as a district officer. And Sadiq is pulling ahead. I think there's one more question. Let me see. Yeah. A club officer EXCOM role is requirement for DTM. Do you need to be a club officer to become a DTM? Yes, so club officer's role is one of the requirements of a DTM. And so those of you all who are club officers who are doing the COT, it is required, it will be a credit for your DTM. And yes, Sadiq, well done. And there is one more, I think. Club officers training is a requirement for DTM. Do you need to be do a COT if as part of your DTM requirement? Because you are doing a COT today. So I wanted to ask you this question. In fact, it is a requirement of not just taking up the role as a club officer. You need to not only attend the club officers training, you also need to take part in what we call the club success plan. These are the requirements of your DTM journey. And 6 of you got it right. And let's see who's on the podium. At number 3 is Karthik. Well done, Karthik. At number 2, LM. And is it Sadiq? Yeah, great. Let me take a screenshot of this. Well done, Murali and Gaurav. You are in the podium too. And let me stop the share. So who was this Sadiq? Sadiq Amiri? Wow. Okay. Toastmaster Sadiq Amiri. And I'm happy to see it was not a DTM, but a Toastmaster who got the podium as first place. Well done. So that's a baseline of our understanding. Some of you got most of the questions right. Some of you may have had a little less understanding of some of the requirements, and that's what we are going to go through now. So let me share my Excel screen once again. Okay. This can be quite a challenge. Okay. I think now you should be able to see my screen. And so we are talking about the requirements for DTM. I have good amount of time in front of me. So I am going to do it more of a interactive activity. So we have to do two parts. You must be a club officer for 12 months. And in that 12 months, is there any problem? Okay. Okay. So we have two parts, part 1 and part 2, and we have to be a club officer for 12 months. And in that 12 months, you have to take part in the club success plan that you must present to your area director. And also you must attend the district sponsored COT, which is what we are doing right now. So it's all combined together. It's not just you take up a role as a club officer, you have to do these two activities too. And you have to serve one term as a district officer, and a term in a district officer is usually 1 year. You have to serve successfully as a club mentor or coach. And the word successfully is highlighted here because when you take up these roles, you have to complete them, not just get assigned. And we'll talk about club mentor and club coach, what it means to be serving successfully. The fifth requirement is that you have to serve successfully as a club sponsor or conduct a youth leadership program, YLP, or a speechcraft. And finally, the last requirement is that you need to complete a DTM project. Now, those of you all who want to finish your DTM, those who have said in 1 year, how many parts have you completed as of now? Have you completed at least one part? Can you put in the chat? So Karthik has done one part, so you have only one more part to complete. So I guess you are good to go. Priscilla has done 1.5 part. Is it half part or is it one part and half? Okay. Yeah, one part and half. Okay. Who else has done at least a part and not a DTM and wants to become a DTM in the next 1 to 2 years? Done with one. Allah, great. And yeah, come on, let me understand who, because if you all have put a challenge saying that you'll do it in 1 year, but you haven't done even one part, then I need to tell you what is the realistic target to achieve that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of the 6 requirements in slight detail, and to do that effectively, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how my dashboard looks, and I want you all to help me because I have already completed one path, right? I want you all to help me to see whether I could do my second path and start competing with our Superman Murali. But I will not reach him because he is already thinking of 3 or 4 paths, I think. But let's see whether you can tell me I can achieve a second DTM. And to do that, let me go to my profile. And I'm sure all of you all know how to access your profile. Let me make this small. Right. So all of you all know how to go to toastmasters.org and go to your profile, which is right on top here. And the important elements to understand what is the requirement for a DTM journey, you will find it in these 3 sections: the education awards, the offices held, and the club support history. These are the 3 things that will tell you what you have done, what you need to do. And if you look at my education awards, I will click on this. You can see I have quite a number of awards that I have completed, including some awards from the traditional program called Competent Communicator, Competent Leader, but we'll not discuss those today. We will only focus on this Pathways Awards that you see, DL3, DL4, AL, TC2. These are the awards I am interested in because these are paths. So we will look at the Pathways Awards that you have achieved, and you could do that in your own profile. The second thing I want to check is the offices held. This is the leadership part of your journey. What offices have you held as a Toastmaster? So you can see my list here as Vice President Education, PR, Area Director, Division Director. So these are the different roles that I have taken up in my journey. And finally, what we have is something called the club support history. And this is using your education, using your leadership, what have you done to help others, members or clubs? So when I click on the club support history, I can see that I was a sponsor, I was a mentor for this club, I sponsored this club, and a coach, but that is currently in progress. That means the role, that's why in the Excel file, I had put that word successful. The word has to be complete. That's when you know that your role is successful. So this is still going on. So I'm still helping to achieve this goal, but I have this too. So what I have done is I have downloaded all these three elements, the education awards, the offices held, the club support history, in an Excel file, so I could demonstrate it in more easily to you all. So these are my education awards. I just copy pasted from the dashboard and I pasted it here. It's very easy to do. I can see the offices held that I copy and pasted from my Toastmaster profile, and the club support history. As you saw, the two things that are completed and the one that is in progress. Now, as I have mentioned, I have already completed the DTM journey, which means I have done some of these things and I have already utilized those credits that I gained in education and in leadership towards my DTM. And to better understand this, what I'm going to do is, if I look at this education awards, you know, in Excel, we can do something called filter, okay? Or we can click on this arrow, and I'm going to search for all the level 5s that I have completed. So I have completed, as you can see, dynamic leadership, effective coaching, leadership development, and team collaboration. It means I have completed 4 paths, okay? Now the question to you is, am I eligible for a second DTM? In the chat, can you all put it? Let me open the chat. Sadiq says yes. Murali says conditions apply, and we'll come to those conditions, Murali. That's why I have not applied for the second DTM. You are correct, partly. Allah says, sure. Thank you, Allah, for your encouragement and support that I am eligible for the, for the second DTM. So what I want to show you here is, I want to thank you, Murali, you can achieve. Thank you for that encouragement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 2 of these paths because I have already used them in my previous DTM, my first DTM. So if I was to format this, let me change this to red. So that means it is already done. I cannot use it again for my second DTM. So this is for my first DTM. This is used. So I will mark this. And in my DTM1, I have a sheet here. I will say the first part that I had used was leadership development. So path 1 was leadership development. And there is a date for it. I don't remember. Let me see when I was, oh, it's not mentioned here, but okay. Let's ignore this for the time being. And the second part I had done was team collaboration. So let me put team collaboration here. And Also that was done. So it's a marked 2. Now, club officers for 12 months. I had to use one of my credit as a club officer. So if I go to the officers held tab, the one which I had actually used was this one. I had used this role for my first DTM. Okay, so this is what I had used. Now, and that's fine. Let me finish that before I come to my, so I had done this for, what was that? Kuwait challenges. So I used the Kuwait challenges credit and I completed that. And when was that done? That was done in June 30, 2019. So that was June 30, 2019. Serve complete one term as a district officer. Okay, so I should have done some district officer role to get my first DTM. I'm going to show you this officers held, and can you tell me which role I must have used to get my first DTM? I'll make it big so that you all can see it. And in the chat, can you all tell me which role I must have used for my first DTM to area director? Yes. Okay, AD role. From Nazma, AD role. Priscilla says AD role. And in fact, that is what I had done. As you can see, this role is already completed in June 30, 2020. So this is what I had used for my first DTM. Great. So in my first DTM sheet, I will say I had used my area director role, and that completed on June 30, 2020. That was what happened here. Now, I needed to successfully serve as a club mentor or coach. Okay, club mentor or coach. So let me check what support did I provide. So I need either club mentor or coach. In my list, I have coach, sponsor, mentor. Which one do you think I used here? ASSP mentor. ASSP mentor. Yes, this is what I had used for my first DTM. So that's ASSP. So I'll go to my sheet and say I was the ASSP mentor. And when was that done? Let me check. It was done on April 16, 2019. Great. So that means I required to finish a club sponsor or conduct YLP or Speechcraft. Let me look at my history. So it means I did not do YLP. I did not do Speechcraft. And it means I must have used this for my first DTM. Okay, so let me put that here. So DAO sponsor. And when was that completed? Let me check. That was done on December 9, 2018. December 9, 2018. Which means the only thing that was remaining was the DTM project. And for that, as I said, it's like a capstone project. It is what you love to do and what you should do to demonstrate all of the skills that we have learned in our leadership and communication journey. In my case, what I had done is when the pandemic struck all of us and we were stuck in our homes and we did not know how to conduct the online speech contest, whether we should have do online speech contest. I took up the role to support areas, divisions, to help them to conduct this contest by supporting, by training members, contestants, judges. So I conducted over the period of 2 or 3 months, all of this contest and support, and that was my DTM project. That was my showcase project. Okay, so online contests for divisions, and even I took part in the DTech also to support them. Do you think my DTM was a good project, or do you think? Does that showcase the right skills for to demonstrate as a DTM project? Need of the hour, okay. Yes, it was actually the need of the hour. So now I want to see whether I can do my second DTM. And so let's look at my second DTM, and it's all empty. So the first thing is the paths. As you can see, Allah was very helpful to tell me that I'm eligible because I have already 2 paths completed. So let me put those 2 paths in my second DTM: dynamic leadership and effective coaching. So I'll say dynamic leadership and effective coaching. I need to be a club officer for 12 months. Okay, and you can tell me if I'm eligible for any one of this by looking at this list quickly. And I'm looking at the chats and see whether I could take up this. And if so, which would be the role I can use? I have all this roles of VP Education, President, Public Relations. Can I use all of them? For example, can I use this one? Can I use Capital Speaker's VP Education role? Yes or no? If yes, fine. No. Sadiq says no. Tell me why not. "6 months only" is the response from Priscilla. Sadiq, do you agree to that? Yes. The role, as we have mentioned, is it should be club officer for 12 months. Okay. And the only way you could break that, as Murali says, 2 into 6 months is if the club has 6-month terms. That means the club is electing their EXCOMs every 6 months. There are very few clubs in District 20. I don't think there is even a one club which does like that. All our clubs are serving 12-month terms. But there are some clubs that in other countries where the clubs are very big, they have 6-month terms. Every 6 months, they elect a new EXCOM team. In that case, it could have been served with 6 into 2. But if your club is serving a 12 months term, then we need a 12-month term here. Okay, so I can't use this. So let me mark it in red. What about Dow Toastmasters Club? I can use this. By the way, I wrote those, yeah. Yes, Murali, the thing is, this is, let me show you the, I hope you all can see the screen. So here, if you, I hope you all can see my screen. If your club has 6-month term for officers, you can fulfill this requirement by serving as a club officer twice, but you don't have to do it in consecutive terms. So this will answer your question about clubs having 6-month terms. As I said, in District 20, we don't have this. So let's go back and say, Dow Toastmasters, can I use this role? Yes or no? October 28 to June 30. It is not 12 months, so I can't use that. VP Public Relations, I can use. Also, it is not 1 year, so let me knock that off also. Trainers Toastmasters, February 1 to June 30, also not 12 months, which means I have to rely on this role, which is a 1-year term, but it will only finish in next year, June 3rd, 2020. So that's my target. If I want my second DTM, I have to finish this role for 12 months. So let me write that down. So I will say Trainers Toastmasters Club. Okay, so date completed will be June 30, 2021. So only after this, I will be eligible for my second DTM. I will participate in Club Success Plan during this period, definitely. I will attend the district sponsored COT. Why not only attend? I will give a workshop on during COT, which is what I'm doing right now. Complete 1 term as a district officer. Let's see, offices held. Am I eligible for any of this? So this will go for the second DTM. So I will put here second DTM. Okay, so this is my second DTM. What else can I use for my district role? So the division director, during our discussion, we saw that division director is a district role. So again, I could use this credit for my second DTM, but again, it will finish in June 30, 2021. So let me mark that and let me go to my Excel file and I'll say DTM2. I will have to be the division director and that should be 30 June 21. I'm not getting any feedback from the chat. I hope you're paying attention. Serve successfully as a club mentor or coach. Okay, let's see what I have to do here. Can you tell me for this role, club mentor or coach? So yes, trainer's coach. If I could succeed in achieving this coach credit, then I can say that's my target. So I could say coach for trainers, but I don't know when this will finish because can you tell me what is the requirement to be successful in coaching as a coach credit? Who knows it? Other than Murali. Murali knows everything. I want somebody else to tell me what is the requirement to become a coach or a successful coach? Five DCP goals for club. Okay, it is to some extent right, but I want a more precise answer. Sadiq is doing what we do in our schools, passing notes from one another using electronic means. But let's look at some answers. I'm sure other than Murali, there are some people who know what is the requirement for a successful coach. Nobody? How many are there? We have 30 people in the, I'm sure. Even without Murali sending notes privately, this is a very important requirement. Actually, there is a, but I don't want to go too much into it because this was an escape clause for the traditional program. I don't want to talk about it in the pathways. I just want to understand about the coach credit. Base plus 5 members plus minimum 5 goals. Sadiq Amiri. Okay. I hope that was not from Murali. So to be a successful in a coach credit, first of all, a coach is assigned to a club when the club has 12 or less members. So if you were to go to your Toastmasters Leadership Central, what happens is a club that has less than 20 members, let's look at District 20, and let's look at my division itself. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F. So any club that has to date the membership less than 12, for example, Kuwait, this club is eligible to be assigned a coach, and his responsibility in this case would be to take this club, add at least 5 new members, because the base is 9, it has 9, add at least 5 new members and make this 5 the goals so that the club becomes distinguished. If the club successfully becomes distinguished after adding 5 members, it will then become, the coach credit will automatically be assigned to you. So you need to look at clubs that are, for example, KNPC is eligible for a coach. Assign a coach, add 5, so they will become at least 16, and then add 5 goals in education, membership, and so forth. I don't want to go into that part of it because that's not part of the DTM project, and you will then be eligible for that coach. Okay. So that's how you become a coach. I'm currently the coach assigned for this club. And if I finish that, then I can use it. So it's a question mark whether I'll succeed or no. Okay. Then I have to serve successfully as a club sponsor or conduct a YLP or conduct a speechcraft. So I don't have anything on this because all of these are gone now. So this could be for my second DTM. So I don't have anything for speechcraft or something. So I need to plan one of this. So this is the only main requirement for me in my journey to Toastmasters, to plan this. And of course, complete a DTM project. And a DTM project is, as I said, it's a pet project. Once you have done all of this, you choose something that you love to do, you execute it, and then you say, hey, Toastmasters International, this is my application for a Pathways DTM. So in a nutshell, these are the 6 things that I have broken down into the elements of what you need to do, what are the pros, what are the requirements of each of this element. And I hope that has given you a clarity on what you as your personal journey need to achieve to become a DTM. Any questions? I have 5 minutes left. I will use those 5 minutes to plan to answer your questions.
Yes, DTM
Okay,
Cajetan has
Dinesh
posted
Kumar
the
Pal
question.
has the first question, and I will address that. And but I will give you an opportunity to speak also because Dinesh Kumar Pal. So Dinesh, you are unmuted. Feel free to ask the question.
Good morning, DTM Cajetan, for wonderful presentation. I question already chat posted this requirement of the mentor or club. How long?
Okay, so each one has a different requirement. The club mentor role is assigned when a new club is formed. So when you form a new club, you can assign up to 2 mentors to that club. And those 2 mentors should be the one who will invest in the club to help the new members understand best practices of conducting Toastmaster meetings, because a new club is made up of all new members and they don't know what to do. So these mentors go into the club, they try to attend all possible meetings, they try to guide the EXCOM team on how to do their roles, they guide the members on how to do the different roles in a Toastmaster meeting, Toastmaster of the day, evaluation, everything they guide them. The minimum requirement for a mentor is 6 months. So 6 months you have to invest after the club forms till they can start walking on their own feet. And then once 6 months are over, you will then tell the president, hey, president, I have served you for 6 months. Can you please sign off this letter saying that I have successfully served as a club mentor? And it is the president of that club who signs on the paper and sends an email to Toastmaster International saying this mentor has done his job properly, and that becomes successful. If the club president refuses to sign saying that you did not do the role, then it is not successful. So you need to work with the president during the 6 months to make it a successful journey. Okay, so that's the mentor role, 6 months. But after the 6 months are over, you cannot just be cold turkey and stop visiting them, right? You can continue doing it for another 6 months or more till you are comfortable that they are on their own 2 feet. So 6 months is the minimum, and then maximum is up to you. So that's for club mentor. A club sponsor is the one who initiates the creation of a new club. So when you're creating a new club, you can assign up to 2 club sponsors who work together in all the initial paperwork and in all the getting the new members to collect their membership fees, submit the documentation to Toastmaster International. And once the club is formed, their role is over. There is no 6 months, there is no 8 months. A club sponsor is, I sponsored the club is chartered. The moment the club is chartered, you can, the president of that club can say, okay, we are now chartered, give the club sponsor credit to this member, and you are done. The coach, I have already explained. So club mentor, club sponsor, club coach. These are the three real core support roles that you can use your skills to help build the community to make it grow bigger.
So how you
So
will submit
sponsor,
this credit?
yes. So again, for club mentor and club coach, it is done by the president. There is a form that comes to you. It has to be just signed by the president and then email to, I guess, new clubs. There is a email called newclubs@toastmasters.org. You just write to them and they will award the credit to you and you'll see it in your profile. So what is meant by sponsoring a club, Sadiq? I hope that answers your question. You help in creating the new club. What is the benefit of DTM title outside of Toastmasters? Well, it's a personal achievement. It is nothing to do with whether any outside agency recognizes the DTM, because it's not a certification program. It's a self-paced program, self-achievement program. It's a personal benefit. I don't think there is any credit assigned to anywhere else. It's in the Toastmasters only. You cannot be a coach of a club where you're already a member. That is 100% accurate. You have to be an outsider who can bring fresh ideas to make the club succeed. But after you're assigned, after you worked with them for some time, and if you still, then you feel you need to become a member of the club, you can of course do it, but you can't be a club coach if you're already a member of that club. Correct, Murali, as always. What is the difference between mentoring and coaching a club? So the mentoring is when the club is formed. The first time when the club is formed, that's the only time you can assign a mentor. Once the club has completed, once the club is chartered, no, you cannot assign any more mentors to that club. That's it. When the club was formed, that was the time you could assign up to 2 mentors for that club so that they get off on their own feet. Once the club is established and it is struggling, the only way then you can lift that club is to assign a coach to that club. So coaching is assigned when the club is struggling and there are 12 members or less, and the club requests the district to say, I need a coach. It is not, you cannot force a coach on a club. The president can say, no, I don't want a coach. We are fine. We have a plan. We will do it. But if the club approaches the district and say, hey, can you support us? Can you send us some coaches who can help us to motivate us? Then you assign the coach and it is done by the club growth director, CGD, from district. Nil recognition outside TM. I wouldn't say nil recognition, really. Once you are a distinguished Toastmaster, and those who know the program, or at least they know Toastmasters, and you tell them I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, it will change their perception of who you are, that you have done something. Yeah, within 60 days, you can appoint a mentor. Yeah, that should be fine. Once you form a new club, you have some window there to assign mentors. But once the club is established, then the window of opportunity to assign mentors disappears. How do you find a club to be their coach? Very easy question. Go to the dashboard, as I showed you. Dashboard is your biggest friend. You want to be a club coach? Look at the clubs that are in your area or in your district, or now you could be a coach even to clubs outside of Kuwait if you want to. I don't see, because you could be a coach as long as we are meeting online, no problems. And we find clubs that are less than 12. Okay, so like say you want to become a coach for leading ladies, all right? And then you can approach the leading ladies president and say, look, I can bring some help to you. I can make this club become 17 members plus 5. Are you interested in me as a coach? And the president says, yeah, sure. Then you write to the club growth director and say, I'm interested in becoming a coach for this club. The club is receptive to my coaching, and please assign me officially as a coach for leading ladies. And that's how you'll do it. So it's a challenge to find a club and be a coach of club who have less than 12 members. Yes, of course, coaching is only meant to be for clubs that are struggling to build them up, and it takes struggle. That's why DTM is not easy. It takes time to do all these roles, 6 months, 12 months, and so forth. And with that, I believe I have reached the end of my session, and any other Speechcraft should be for the club, or it can be outside the club. Speechcraft can only be sponsored by a club. You need a club to sponsor a Speechcraft program, and the VP members education of that club, and the president will sign off the Speechcraft credit for you. So it has to be sponsored by a club. Thank you, DTM Murali, for all your excellent interaction. And with that, I hand over to the moderator to.
Thank you, DTM Cajetan. Thank you, all of you, the Toastmaster members and the Toastmaster. Thank you for joining this workshop. Any other question for anyone who would like to ask?
Mr. Tariq?
Yeah.
You posted the form for the attendance. The responses are shut. I have messaged TTM Dashti regarding it. And that form is for attendance, or it's for the next EXCOM role or position?
Oh yeah. I have. He answered me this question, so this is sorry for this mistake about this.
Okay.
I'm sorry, DTM Olivia.
No problem. So they don't have to fill it, right? It's not
No,
because this workshop is open for all. Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
So members will be resuming for the next EXCOM position, which is going to be at 5 p.m. today.
Yeah, at 5 p.m. or we will.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, DTM Cajetan.